Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Coffee with the Principal. I'm so glad that you're here today. Happy Halloween for those of you who celebrate Halloween. Some of you may be asking, Mr. Hunsberger, where's your costume today? I tell the kids I go as a principal, but I also do this to make sure that some of our kids who don't come in costume have an adult that they can identify with here at the school on when we have costume day. So glad you're here today. I'm very excited for today's Coffee with the Principal because I have an amazing team member who will be joining us and actually is here, and she'll present in just a minute. But just a couple quick reminders as we get started. You're joining the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording the meeting so that you can so we can share with families who weren't able to make it live. When we get to Q&A, feel free to use the raise hand feature, but we're usually pretty small, so you can just type it in the chat or things like that. All right, let's next. So again, I am super excited to, in just a second, introduce to you Miss Tracy, who is our school PSW, and she will tell you what PSW stands for, and she will also tell you all of the great things that she does to support all of our students here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. Then we'll share with you some of the things we've been doing in instruction and just some other updates before we get to Q&A, and we'll wrap up before 9:30 this morning. So we're super glad to have you all. All right, so without any further ado, let me introduce to you Miss Shannon Tracy, who is our psychological social worker. Oh, maybe I've got one of those acronyms wrong. She'll tell me. I think I may have messed that up, and I messed up the dates too. Wow. She will correct all of this in just a minute. Do you want to share your screen, Miss Tracy, or
Good morning.
Good.
Yes, good morning, everybody. First, can you hear me okay? Great.
Yes.
Yes, I do see a couple mistakes, but no worries. I will clear that up. I would like to share my screen. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Perfect. Okay, can everybody see that? Perfect. Okay, so yes, good morning. My name again is Miss Tracy. I am your school-based psychiatric social worker, very close, Principal Hunsberger. And yes, I am here at school on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. My primary responsibility at the school is to promote and support mental health awareness and social emotional development of all students. So any student can request to meet with me, or they can be referred by their teacher, administrator, or parent. If I do notice that students are coming in regularly to speak with me, then I do go ahead and make a phone call to you parents to get consent, let you know that the student is wanting to be connected with me and just have that mental health support. So again, parents will always know if I am meeting with the student regularly. Some services I provide, short-term individual counseling, group counseling. You may have received an email from Ms. Guith that we are soon to be doing group counseling, a grief and loss support group. Also, I provide classroom lessons, social emotional curriculum implementation. I am available for parent workshops, school-wide campaigns. Last month, you may have seen some posts I made on anti-bullying and bullying prevention. I was able to provide advisory teachers with some anti-bullying lessons and activities the students were able to do in class. I also collaborate with teachers and staff, provide case management support, and linkage to mental health and community-based agencies. So if a parent is wanting more of a long-term counseling for their students, then I can connect them to those outside resources. And can you guys see the second slide? Yeah, okay, great. So I just wanted to give a short little lesson on the importance of mental health. So I love this little sign that says mental health is health, right? I feel like oftentimes we spend a lot of effort and time in our physical health, but mental health is just as important. So mental health includes our emotional, mental, and social well-being. Our mental health affects our daily lives. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And having positive, good, healthy mental health helps us to handle stressful situations, any stress in our lives. It helps us to relate to others, and it helps us to make healthy choices. And so if we do neglect mental health, or if our students are neglecting their mental health, this can lead to an increase in risky behavior, maybe not making the best choices. It can also lead to physical health problems. It can lead to chronic school absence or low achievement within the classroom setting. And statistics show that that ultimately leads to school dropout. And if it's not, if the mental support is not being treated early, it could develop into a mental illness. And so what we like to do, what I like to do is prioritize that mental health, help students by listening to them as they talk and process about their feelings and their experiences. I like to get to know the students, utilize, what are their strengths, and helping them to identify those strengths and how to best use their strengths when they are dealing with different stressful situations, whether it's at school or home in the community. Identifying and using healthy coping skills. Some examples could be simply deep breathing. Some students enjoy journaling. Just what are those healthy coping skills that we can use when we are having strong feelings, whether it's anger, stress, anxiety. And also the focus is on prevention and early intervention. So that is, like I said, when I'm able to go into the classrooms or do school-wide mental health campaigns, we want to make sure we're reaching all students, not just the students that maybe need that extra support, but also all students, so that that prevention piece, so that hopefully when I'm able to support their mental health as a whole, then maybe when they're going to high school, they wouldn't have there wouldn't need as much intervention because we've provided the prevention. And again, this is, sorry, I forgot to mention this in the first slide, but I have it here again. This is a QR code. So if you are interested in your child being connected to mental health services, whether it's short-term with myself or long-term, you can go ahead and take a picture of this QR code and it'll go straight to my referral. I also have a link that I will go ahead and copy into the chat box for you if you do not have a phone on you at the moment. And that also goes straight to my parent referral. And thank you. So nice to meet everyone. I'm really happy to be at Catherine John STEM Academy. I could tell that it's a very supportive school and supportive staff and parents.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Tracy. If you could hang out for just a minute or two, I'm wondering if we have any questions from any of our family members who are here with us today, specifically for Ms. Tracy or mental health. We're good at wait time, Ms. Tracy, on these coffees.
No worries. I don't mind waiting at all.
No worries. And why don't we do this, Ms. Tracy? Would you be able to put your email in the chat? And then if families have additional questions, they can reach out to you individually.
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Ms. Tracy, for joining us this morning. I encourage all of our families, if you have questions or wonderings about what services she provides or how to connect your child with the services she provides, please shoot her an email, shannon.tracy@lausd.net. All right, so at this point, we'll continue with some of our updates, some of our announcements, and we'll move right along. So again, just as a reminder, for those of you particular 8th grade families who are interested in learning more about high schools, Westchester's having an information night. They had the first one this past week. They're having another one this coming week, and you can learn more about the programs and the offerings that they have at Westchester High School. The link is in the chat, bit.ly/WESM info night. Case sensitive. All right, shifting gears to some instruction. So very cool things happening in instruction. I want to highlight Miss Alejandre, who's been doing a fantastic job in her history courses and her social science courses, connecting what students are learning to world cultures, particularly as we have looked forward to Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, to celebrate on Monday and Tuesday this coming week. She's connected that with the culture and the past of all the ways that we can recognize that and learn about that as we move forward. Mr. Heilig in science class, learning about forces, motion. When he showed a picture of this car, I looked at that picture and I said, I remember, growing up in a car that looked like that. And this lesson was on how motion transfers and how acceleration and impact transfer in different types of distances and forces for the 8th grade curriculum. Yesterday, we had a pumpkin decorating contest that was done by Miss Jones and the students. So we had so many amazing pumpkins were decorated by our students. I think you may have seen some of them posted on Class Dojo. So a shout out to Miss Jones for sharing that and for guiding our students through that experience of doing that. So well done to the students in terms of that. Today, after lunch, our students are participating in Fall Fest, where they're doing games, costume competitions, snacks, and more. I've seen some of the costumes already. I don't know how people are going to make decisions about winners of competitions. They're all so good. Oh my goodness. So that's happening. And then this coming Monday evening, you family members are invited to a screening of Coco here at the school. It'll take place at 5:30. We know it'll still be a little bit light out there at that time, but we'll get it started and then it will get darker as it goes on. That'll happen out here on our front lawn. Bundle up because it can be cold, but we look forward to having that this coming Monday. And then two last, and actually we're moving by pretty quick. Just as a reminder, we're a uniform school, and one of the pieces we've been kind of looking past over the last couple months is the outerwear component. So we've been sending out reminders all month long. Now, starting this Monday, we're going to be enforcing that outerwear be navy and either no logo or our logo. So we hope that the vast majority of our students are ready and good to go with that beginning Monday. We do have a few pairs of extra outerwear, so we just ask for folks' patience as they come into school in the morning. We expect the line may not move quite as fast on Monday as it typically does, so we appreciate your patience in terms of that. And then also on Monday, we are going phoneless. So most of our students have already figured out how they're going to, get in with the daily pass without a phone. And it's either a lot of them print it at home and bring it on a piece of paper. Some of them, the parent walks with them to the front of the school, and they scan the phone and then they give it back to the parent, and that's totally fine. Some of our kids have started using their Chromebook to log on to the daily pass, and you can generate it on your Chromebook, no problem. And then for those kids who have no other option than to have their phone here at school because of the after school program or something like this, we will store it with us in a locked container and make sure that students get it at the end of the day. And then finally, every time I talk about COVID updates, I feel like I'm gonna jinx us because for the 4th straight week in a row, we've had 0 cases of anyone of any students or staff members test positive for COVID. We're still testing every week. Students are actually testing right now. So we had no tests or no positive tests in the last 4 weeks. I know saying that out loud, I am going to jinx it. So just know that eventually we will have a student or a staff member test positive. Going to happen. We get the results Sunday morning. And then when we do that, my office staff and I, we have all our seating charts online, so we can look up who are the kids who are sitting next to that student. Are they vaccinated? Because remember, if they're vaccinated, they don't need to quarantine. But if they're unvaccinated, they will need to quarantine. And then we'll reach out and contact families. The goal is to do that Sunday afternoon, but by the latest Monday morning. Again, that's only in the event of a positive case and an unvaccinated close contact. So last 4 weeks have been great. You know, that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to jinx it. I don't believe in that, but that's okay. All right. Just as a reminder, this is really important. 12-year-old students, or I should say this, students who will be 12 by January 10th, or I'm sorry, I'll say this, 12-year-old students need to upload a record of their vaccination status by January 10th in order to continue in-person instruction. That's a hard deadline in the sense that 12-year-old students who aren't vaccinated by January 10th, or I should say this, 12-year-old students who haven't uploaded vaccination records by January 10th will be excluded from in-person school on that day, January 10th. So it's really, really important to upload your child's vaccination card to the Daily Pass as soon as you can, as soon as you get it. We can help you with that. If you have any trouble doing that, just let us know. We had a family member stop by during drop-off about half an hour ago and say, hey, I'm having some trouble uploading. Can you help me? I said, absolutely, yes. We sent her to the main office and they got it done. If your child turns, so let me back up and say this. So in order to hit that deadline, the student has to have their first dose by November 21st and their second dose by December 19th in order to do that. If your child turns 12 after November 21st, they've got 30 days after their 12th birthday to get that first dose, and then 8 weeks after their 12th birthday to get the second dose. Here is what's going to happen as we get close to January 10th. Several 100,000 kids and families are all going to be uploading their vaccination records that are all going to have to be manually reviewed by a team at LA Unified. And so I predict that the system will get backed up and it will take a while. So my strong recommendation is that you upload this as soon as absolutely possible, and then you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. And then finally, you can get vaccinations almost anywhere these days, but one place you can get them is at school. And there are 2 days coming up where your 12-year-old child can get them here at Katherine Johnson. One of them, the first day is Friday, November 12th. The second day is Friday, December 10th. When I say here at Katherine Johnson, because we don't have a ton of space, we actually use the auditorium at Westchester High School. So if you do need to set an appointment for here, know that here is up a couple hundred yards at the WESM auditorium. So I'd encourage you to make use of all those opportunities to do that. Okay. That is all I had today. I'll go ahead and stop sharing and see what questions folks might have today as we wrap up the weekend. Oh my goodness, wrap up October. What questions might folks have?
Mr. Hansberger, this is Grant's mom.
Oh yes, welcome.
Okay, question I'm sure you said multiple times regarding the phones.
Yep.
So phones, if he ends up bringing the phone, honestly just needs to stay at home.
Yes.
But if he brings his phone, you guys collect them?
Yes.
And return them at the end of the day?
Yes.
Now, if he leaves his phone at home, and if there's an emergency, or if I have to contact to say, hey, I'm running just a few minutes late to pick him up, are we able, because I know sometimes I've called the office and the voicemail will come on. And so will somebody be there just in case we have to get that message to the child?
Right. So one of the things we'll do is we'll make sure that the Beyond the Bell folks, or are you talking about Beyond the Bell, or are you talking about just at the end of school?
End of school.
Okay. One of the things that you can actually do is you can actually, most people don't know this, but that phone number for the school, 323-673-1230, you can actually send a text message to that phone number because it's it's a Google Voice that sends it there. And so what that text triggers is so if you're not able to get through to the office, you can trigger that text to go, which will automatically go, a copy will go to me and to Mr. Medellin and to Ms. Davis. So that's a good way to do that.
Got it. Thank you.
That's a little known secret that most people don't know about that phone number. Yeah. Great question. What other questions might folks have?
Good morning, Principal.
Good morning.
My name is Juan Acosta. My daughter Ariana attends your school.
Yes, welcome.
And I was just curious about the vaccination for the kids 12 and older. If by some reason a child does not get vaccinated, what are their options going to be after the fact if they're not going to be attending class at the actual school?
So let me just make sure I understand your question. So if you have a 12-year-old child who does not receive the vaccination, what happens to that child on January 10th?
On a go-forward basis, if
Sure.
if someone decides not to give them the vaccination.
Sure. So I'll give you the short answer, and then I'll give you my professional opinion. The short answer is I don't know. Principals in the district have not received guidance in terms of specific next steps for unvaccinated 12-year-olds beginning January 10th. So I cannot tell you the official district line on that question. What I would imagine is that that child, if they were staying in LA Unified, would likely, and again, let me be clear about what I'm saying right now. I don't know. Do not quote me on this, even though I'm recording this right now. Do not quote me on this, and do not put this clip on Twitter. I suspect that unvaccinated 12-year-olds who don't have a medical exemption would be required to participate in the City of Angels online learning, distance learning program, which currently exists for families who chose not to send their kids back in person at all. So in LA Unified right now, there are students whose families decided, you know what, my students at a high risk for contracting COVID, or I'm just not comfortable sending them back in person. So LA Unified has been operating an online virtual academy, very similar to distance learning last year, where kids who are not on campus can come and engage in learning online only. My suspicion is that would likely be an option. But again, to be clear, principals have not received any specific guidance for what next steps an unvaccinated 12-year-old has beginning January 10th. Fair enough?
Okay. Yeah, I understand. It sounds like the kids that won't be vaccinated or parents who don't decide to vaccinate their kids won't be allowed to return to your class or your school. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for answering that. I
No,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. That's an important question. Great question. We have a couple minutes left. What final questions might there be?
I have one more if no one else wants to.
Yeah, let me see if anybody else has one more, and if not,
Please.
then you can have it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is Chase Arnold's mother. How are you
Yes.
this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. I would like to ask, is there a deadline for the medical exemption? I've taken Chase to the doctor and they have the forms in review, but I'm just wondering, is there a deadline that I should upload it into the portal?
I would recommend as soon as possible. I have not heard of a deadline different than January 10th. If you are requesting a medical exemption, the place where you upload that in the daily pass is exactly the same place where you upload the actual vaccination record. So
Okay.
they're both going to the same place, and then the team that reviews that manually, they either review your vaccination card or they review a medical exemption.
Okay.
And to be clear, I've not heard a different deadline than January 10th.
Okay.
Good question. Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Acosta, go ahead.
Oh, yes, real quick. I just wanted to find out. I reached out via email to your school staff regarding any possible tutoring programs that you might have for students
Sure.
after school on your campus. I haven't heard back yet from anyone. I understand you guys are busy, but is there any way we can talk, or is there any way someone can contact me via my telephone or email to see if there's any tutoring available after school on your campus?
Sure. So let me tell you what we have, but then also my email's in the chat, so anyone can email me directly. I appreciate the fact that you email my office staff, because a lot of times they can answer questions. But if you haven't heard back, please email me.
Right.
So we had LMU, we had an LMU tutor here one day a week for a while, and then through some non-COVID related paperwork, that tutoring stopped about a week ago. So we're in the process of trying to get a different LMU tutor to be able to come here to the school. One of the things that I know some teachers do is they may offer just chances for the kids to check in about that. So what I would recommend is this, if there are particular subject areas where your child seems to be struggling a little bit or needs a little bit more assistance, reach out to the teacher first to see what actually might be able to happen in class. And if it still seems to be like additional supplemental things, then we want to commit to figuring something out, even if we don't currently have an LMU tutor. So we want to make sure all kids get the support they need. Please reach out to me. Please reach out to the teacher, but then also please reach out to me.
Okay, will do. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. It is 9:30. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend. We're not there yet. All right. Today is Friday. Have a great weekend. Have a happy Halloween. If your kids get a lot of candy, please don't have them eat it all Sunday night. Please spread that out over time. I don't want to be cleaning up the mess on Monday morning. All right. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.